sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap. All in one. All for you. Tap in. Zap in.
And on Monday, the 8th of December, why am I getting my,
You are taking us behind.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm on 8th of December 2025. You're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez live on FM across the country, 92.1, and globally, www.wcr.gm. And we are with Alhaji M. Bayo. Yes, he's helping me with his
yes, because I am.
Speaking of trying to curtail, people's hunger for power and the urge to propagate one in power, what reform would Gov't prioritize to make government more accountable and transparent?
Self-perpetuating rule is something that we should pay more attention to. And this is what is killing politics in Africa. Because we are all trying to say the best politics you can preach is politics of democracy, politics of honesty, politics of decency. But again, what Gambia Action Party will do is something that is going to be different from the way political political parties have been manding themselves or conducting themselves. And then I think it has to look into the internal structures first before we talk about democracy at an higher level or a national level. Because if you look at our institutions, most of the political institutions in the Gambia, I might not want to say they don't conduct themselves as government that will safeguard democracy that we have, because the principles of democracy itself does not start internally with them. And this is the reason why Gambia Action Party stood out there to ensure democracy itself is something that we value in our own party before we talk about national democracy. So if our conduct, our activities are all based on giving attention to democratic principles, then I believe if we emerge victorious 2026, I think it's going to set the stage for national consolidation of democracy. And this is where I want political parties to look at very keenly, because I am not only talking on behalf of the Gambia Action Party, but I also respect the political space, which is the 22 political parties that have been registered so far, devoid of movement, how to call them again, independent candidates. I know all those things will be coming tomorrow, will be coming after. Mm-hmm. But for those that are registered, that have been given the mandate, to exercise, powers of political inclusion, political participation, they should start with democracy internally. And that, if that happens, it will pay good to the Gambian democracy. It will consolidate the Gambian democracy. And this, one of them is the love for power by party leaders. Because we've seen constantly political parties in this country been having one leadership for over 2-3 decades.
Ah, that can only be DOI and UDP.
Well, I'm not going to call their names, but I get
over 2-3 decades.
decades.
Which other party has been around for so long, apart from DOI and UDP?
NCP is here, but I think NCP has been having an evolution.
Who talks about NCP these days?
But NCP is a political party.
It's not been led by the same one party.
Yes, I'm not too sure of that. Okay, PPP has also been here for long. But
it's not been led by the same one person forever.
Recently, they have a change, although there were issues of that change. But again, we believe that there's a change. So
even though it has had, you could say, I mean, the leadership has changed hands between the two same people.
Exactly,
for
all the time. Yes. Yeah. So what I would advise is, like, if this kind of thing, this self-perpetuating rule in political internal politics, internal party politics, exists or persist, this is what is taking us at the dead end. Okay, because if a political party, like the way we have Gov't, Honorable Musa Hussein Al-Bachi is still the leader, but in our constitution, in our modus of operandi, it's a bit different from other political parties. Like, the party leader does not automatically becomes the flag bearer of the party.
Oh, he doesn't.
He doesn't. So it's a different case like other political parties.
So if I enrolled in Gov't and primaries came up,
yes,
I could contest and actually win the flag bearership.
Depends on the influence they have in the party. So that's what we're looking at. So for Gambia Action Party, even if it's here for the 2 past decades or 3 decades, but in as much as the role of the political party, the role of the party leader is completely different from the flag bearer, you realize that there are division of power, a division of separation of powers. Okay, whereas the party leader does not automatically fulfill the rights of becoming the party, the flag bearer. So over the years,
in a way, it's the same in the UDP. Huh? They always go to primaries, and the flag bearership is open to contest.
Okay, then why are we not?
You could say, well, I mean, the question should be why
the same person
UDP
always
delegates always electing
the same person.
Alhaji Hussein Udabo.
Well,
he hasn't imposed him. The constitution does not impose him as the automatic flag bearer.
Flag bearer. He's just a leader of the party. Okay, yeah. I think it's a similar practice that we have. But again, like you said, the question still goes to the UDP followers. Why consistently looking at the same person? Maybe he's the right person they feel is the only person who can occupy that place, and there's no other competent person in the UDP that can actually come up to be the flag bearer. There was one time I listened to Cisse, the other name. He used to work with the UN system.
Larry
Cisse, that Hussein Udabo is not the only competent person in the party that can stand out there, to be flag bearer. Anybody can be.
He was right, wasn't he?
He was right. He was right, actually. But again, we still pose the same questions. Why?
Because the delegates keep voting him, keep picking him or selecting him.
Yeah, well, that's the issue. That's the issue. The reason for the delegates to be taking him, to be choosing him as flag bearer.
Just as we are saying, because of the 1997 Constitution, Barrow could keep offering himself for president.
Yeah, because there's no term limit.
Exactly.
Term limits. For us as a party, we believe a flag bearer, because the flag bearer is the agenda. The party leader is just for the structural adjustment of the party. But when it comes to the party attaining presidency, it's not the Secretary General that we look at, but we look at the flag bearer, because obviously, potentially, is the one going to be the president, because the one that is going for elections, and if he wins, he's going to be the president. So the Secretary General is just a role that somebody play, to structure the administrative mechanisms of the party. I think that's what we believe in. So for other political parties, what I'm just saying, if at all we believe in democracy, that self-perpetuating rule, somebody the love for power, let us try to be able to find a mechanism. Whereas if somebody loses this time, he should not be given the opportunity to stand again. If
if somebody loses what? A presidential election or a primary?
Like, for example, if in the Gambia Action Party today,
yes,
Musa Hussein Bachili, if he is going to contest for the presidential election 2026,
yes,
he has to declare himself as the flag bearer, whereas we will have a primary,
yes,
and when the primary is conducted, if he wins, then he's going to stand as the presidential candidate. If he lost that election, what we are preaching is if he lost that election, the next cycle of election, he will not be part of those who are going to contest for the...
So you lose a presidential election,
exactly,
then you don't contest the primary to be a flag bearer.
A flag bearer.
Okay.
Exactly. So
that's interesting.
Yes,
very
in fact, that's the agenda. That's why we are saying we are a different political party, because we don't believe in people serving positions in longer time. Because when that happens, the love for power keep growing. And you'll be having mechanisms, you start to employ mechanisms, those mechanisms that will allow you to stay. People are very wicked. People can be manhandled in quite a different way. So when those mechanisms are there around you, you build them around yourself, you become somebody that is untouchable. People can do that. And when that happens, you destroy the entire structure of an institution. And this is what is happening today, like we are saying in Gambian politics, in our government, because the issue of Barrow to stick for third term was something that was not supposed to even surface in the first place. It should have allowed others to contest, so that at least they can prove themselves as a political party, because a political party cannot be handled by one man alone. Yes, even you are the president, you have all the resources allocated for you to contest for a political power, but again, your political party has a greater role to play, so that at least if you are talking about democracy, defend that democracy in your own internal structure.
Musa Yali Bachili were to be elected president in 2026. One of the problems he will inherit is youth unemployment, youth underemployment, leading to the continued outflow of young people from this country to other countries, with many of them, not making it to their intended final destinations. What are the party gaps, proposals to tackle youth unemployment, youth underemployment?
Well, I think it's not going to be an easy job. I'm not just here to sweet talk, but I also, honestly, in our party's position, we know how youth employment has erupted in the Gambia, and we know how the youth are facing it very hard. In fact, the backway syndrome, why it all came up, is because of this unemployment, skills enhancement, and all those issues. I think as a government succeeding, Barrow's government, Gov't government succeeding Barrow's government, on tackling issues of unemployment in this country is going to be a serious thing. But again, whatever thing that is serious, whatever situation that is critical, again, there must be solutions to those critical situations. One of them is to discourage youth from undertaking the back way by providing skills, entrepreneurship, mentorship programs for them actually to feel safe and secure in the country and be able to invest. We have issues of youth not participating into agricultural activities. And like it said in other parts of the country, we believe that agriculture is the backbone of a nation, and it is the institution that will finance government and also provide solutions for Gambians to live in a much more dignified life. Okay, if we are succeeding Barrow on this youth unemployment, one of the issues that we will attack is to ensure we revive the agricultural sector. And when you revive the agricultural sector, by that way, you will have more youth interested as entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector. Like, for example, if government is to open up state farms, and this is one of the debates that I had with the former ambassador of the United States of America in the Gambia. When we met at the residence, and this is what we talked about, policies, programs, and stuff like that. And then we came into the issue of the GDP. How does it contribute to national development? And I have a different view of how the indicators are looked at calculating the GDP of a country. I realized that it is falsifying in a manner whereas it is illusionary.
Figures are falsified.
Not the figures are falsified. What I mean by it is falsifying is, Like, for example, if you are saying you are doing well, you will have it all what it takes to live in the Gambia. You have your daily breakfast, dinner, and lunch in the GDP. When you come to my house, you realize that I can have 1 meal a day. How do you look at it? It's an illusion. It appears as if it's okay, but in the real sense, it's not okay. That's what the GDP looked at. And so when I look at the GDP, I told him, I said, this is the issue we have.
So the data is falsified.
That's what I'm saying. For example, if you own a business in the Gambia as a foreigner, like for example, Africell, we all know Africell is owned by a foreigner. They are investing in the Gambia, but again, what they realize as fiscal return per year in terms of profit, okay? How much is going to tax paying? How much is going for employment and other services they do for the country? If you look at it, it's less than 10%.
Is it?
It's less than 10%. Now, if you attain a fiscal return of profit margin of $1 billion, only 1 million is going for all these things: taxes, employment, and other services you're doing for the country. So the 9.9 or $99.9 million is for you. And you dictate that where you want to direct it. You can direct it to your own country and invest in Beirut, in Lebanon. Okay? So and when you are capturing that in the GDP, you are not going to say you are not going to say 1 million that has been expended. You are going to capture the entire 1 billion. So how that 1 billion has contributed into the welfare of Gambians? It's only 1%. That is 1 million. So that's why I'm saying, if we, as a government, what you need to do is, the agricultural sector, we all know it has to be shifted from the way normally we know it. That is the subsistence farming. In our family, we have a family of 5, family of 6. We go to the farm. Whatever we realize at the end of the day, it is kept for feeding. Do you exchange that commodity to get finance? No, you cannot sell it. Because if you sell it, you will not have what to eat tomorrow. So we need to shift from that system of farming. Let government comes up to say, okay, we are taking off state farms. If we take off state farms, employment is guaranteed. All the youth you are saying that are languishing, they are not having job, they can work in those farms and they are given good pay. At the end of the day, after the harvest, you internalize it. You sell in the Gambia. The remaining, if you think it's over, the production is big enough, you can take 50-50. 50% of the produce are sold in the Gambia, the other are exported. Okay? So if that happens, you can be able to employ youth, and also you also diversify the idea. Now, if not government only taking state farms, but why would you open an agricultural bank that will provide loans to Gambians that are young people? We call it agricultural bank, so that they can open farms. Poultry is here. It's a multi-million-dollar investment. Let them engage into it. If you have youth that are engaging in all these things, you think they will run away in this country and go to Europe under this cold? Because as it appears now, all the tubabs are coming. Because of what? The conditions, the adverse weather conditions there is just too bad. And Gambians are there. They cannot even come because what they make up in the Gambia is little. It's minimal. And now government of those countries are even forcing our government to return our own citizens, where it is even funny for a government to deny its own people. To me, it's funny, Peter, because you cannot be my father, and I'm about to deport it. The government called, Peter, I want to deport your son. He said, no, I don't need him. Let him don't come. Yet you are denying me.
So what's your vision for education and skills training as drivers of economic growth? And you also spoke about small businesses. How does Gov't plan to support small businesses, farmers, and the informal sector? Okay,
like supporting businesses, I think it's also, the mechanisms are not there for me because the financial aspect is the problem. People will think to say, okay, open a bank and provide loans to support small business farmers, for small businesses. But again, the problem they face always, what I do here in the Gambia, is like people refuse to pay the loans. Because if you refuse to pay the loans, how will it guarantee somebody else to get benefited from the loan? Because if you take all the loan, if like for example you have $1 billion, you provide all the $1 billion in terms of loans, at the end of the day, if you don't have the return, how would you give another person? So they have resistance in issues of providing the support again to get the loans from the people that they've given it. So I think there should be internal control mechanisms. these internal control mechanisms will provide, the physical space for people to be able to return what they owe to those banks. Because creating the bank is one thing, having to secure the loan is another thing. But whenever it is disbursed, how are you going to make sure you get it back? So this is the issue that where Gov't is looking at. If we are to provide an agricultural bank for subventions helping small businesses, and also skill centers, you train people. At the end of the day, you give them at least something they can start up their businesses, or grant they call it. You can give them grant. If it is on grant, that's fine. It's up to them, and you give them mentorship on how they operate in their businesses, so that at least they can maximize profit. Okay, but again, the mechanism I'm talking about, it's when you provide loan, like the banks do. They attach interest. That's one. Secondly, collateral. These are mechanisms, internal control mechanisms they have to get back their money. If not, the money will not come back. Because if you don't provide loan, if you provide loan without collateral, it's 100% possible you don't have your money. So those internal control I'm talking about. But the aspect of interest should be zero in our own policy. The aspect of interest should be zero, because you cannot give $1 to somebody and expect him to pay you another 50 butut, another 25 butut. In fact, I've been getting this conversation on and on. It is very difficult for people to get loans from banks to exercise business or to do businesses, because one, it will not suffice it. Because if you take $1 million in the bank, you are expected to pay almost around maybe around $45,000, $30,000. Let's say 30%. $30,000 is
$1,300,000.
$1,300,000. So how would you be able to be paying that loan plus the interest? Yeah. It is very difficult to do business in the Gambia in that kind of circumstances.
Almost 1/3 of the loan contracted is what you have to pay back.
You have to pay back. Plus, so sometimes it's not only paying the loan back, but when you are paying the loan with the interest, that's when it becomes difficult. So if you are giving loans, give them loans and gratis, like normal.
0%.
0%. But what I need is my money back. And you give your terms and references on that. What time do you need the money? How are you going to pay the money?
Well, you know that's not how commercial banks work.
Yes. No, I'm giving just an example.
Yeah.
I'm giving just an example. I'm not trying to actually say that's the way Gambia Action Party is going to put it down there. Okay. And because of that difficulty we are having in the private sector in acquiring loans, this is the reason why it becomes difficult for government to be able to operate, to be able to leverage some of these issues of youth employment. So this is what Gambia Action Party want to tackle. Whereas if you are having an agricultural bank or investment bank, make sure the funds are there. And then secondly, we give them on zero rate.
Okay.
But we ensure our internal control mechanisms of refunding the money is there.
On the issue of education and skills?
Well, skills, we know government is trying now. It's just we are going to take up from there. But they are also trying, they have the TVET, the USET, and all those stuffs. They are providing skills. But again, there's something that is the connect.
So you doff your hat for, to the government for its TVET strategy.
Yeah, the TVET strategy is good. It's welcoming. Okay. And that's what we talk about consistency. From the NPP-led government, Gambia Action Party government, just take it up from there. And we improve certain things that we feel that we are lacking in the previous implementation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.